Hour of Hope, a poem written about Fela Gibson and her experience with the Holocaust, written by Ethan Cohen. A knock on the door in the dead of night, the living room, soldiers, tears, pain. Will I be taken away, tortured, or tormented? I worry, I fear, I hope, I pray. One of only 120 girls, deep in an unknown, foreign land. Packed 20 deep in a boxcar, kneeling. Is this torture? Like my night spent in the barracks, kneeling? I worry, I fear, I hope, I pray. I didn't wear a star for the inspection, scared, crying, taken down, far away from family and friends, scared, crying, tortured, forced to kneel all night, scared, crying. I worry, I fear, I hope, I pray. I arrive at Chateau deep in Czechoslovakia, far from home. One of only 120 girls, forced to work and make thread. March and work, march and work, march and work. I worry, I fear, I hope, I pray. Father's diamond ring taken away, with it memories of him, forced to work and make thread, internally screaming, surviving, barefoot on the wet floor, freezing, pain. I, I worry, I fear, I hope, I pray. March, dig, and work. March, dig, and work. March, dig, and work. I dig ditches, forced to kneel. I am not permitted to rise. Attack dogs, trotting around, blood spilled, agony. I worry, I fear, I hope, I pray. It's here. It's finally come. Open doors. Russian troops over the horizon. 2.5 years of pain. Over. I celebrate. I love. I hope. I pray. Liberation, I appreciate, a hope that I have held dear. I celebrate, I love, I hope, I pray.
Hi, my name is Yael Marzouk, and I'll be reading my poem Distance. No one ever tells you how far you will travel in life, how far away you will be taken from everything you know and love. Distance in miles, kilometers, meters, steps of hardship and pain. Completely alone, one foot in front of the other, hoping that the distance I will travel will be enough, will take me away from this nightmare. Midnight strikes, darkness everywhere, still awake, listening to the sounds outside. I hear a loud knock. My parents and I race to the door, wondering who is knocking. Nazis rush into our house to take me away, pulled, torn, and ripped from my family. I reach for my parents' hands, their small touch full of comfort, love, and fear. I am miles from home and everything I know. Distance in miles, kilometers, meters, steps of hardship and pain. Completely alone, one foot in front of the other, hoping that the distance I will travel will be enough. I miss my parents and brothers. I am cold, hungry, and alone. Taken away. A leap of faith that my story will have a happy ending. One foot in front of the other. I know the distance I will travel will be enough.
This piece of drawing is Joseph Alexandra. His outline was made with important phrases I found in his testimony. I found them very interesting and the most appropriate to put on this piece. The rubric is set to include a phrase, but I thought to myself, wouldn't it be better to include multiple and everyone could understand more? So that's what I did. Instead of having just one thing, just one phrase to focus about, I put multiple. The reason I made it black and white is because in the early days, older pictures, photographs, and videos were black and white, so I wanted to represent that. I wrote his number in red because red symbolizes love, heart, and kindness, but it also symbolizes blood, hatred, and exclusion. It represents how it was forced on him, which caused harm to him, like blood. From then on, they stopped calling him by his actual name, but started calling him by his number. This piece means a lot to me because it made me feel like I was there when it happened, even though I wasn't. Thank you.
In honor of Samuel Steinberg, a poem of perseverance by Cooper Chen. A life of horror. People can be scary. We still persevere when pushed in a corner. I can be lucky. Youngest to blessed family in Tamasha, Simho had been my name. Son of a strong mother and a hard-working father, living a happy life, never have been better. I can be loved. 1937 was when the real trouble began, when the danger hit the stars in the sky. Troubled Jews escaped in the night, only to be caught while in flight. Simho is hiding. I can be brave. Only 1,000 remain, barbed wire locking us in, like birds in a cage, working in the big factories. Father buried, brother dying, no victories. I can be resilient. From Belsen to Auschwitz, we say goodbye, Simho, and hello to B1840. I peeled potatoes to save my brother, to only have him killed by another. No time to mourn. I can transcend hate. Flossenburg was a real affliction. Nazis killed with a dirty conviction. Allies attempt to save the unsavable, only to have them kill more than imaginable. Most have died and starved, thrown in wagons, smothered by the corpses of others. I can survive. Marching to escape the heroes, one foot in front of the other. I cannot fall prey. I rise despite the pounding rain. Tomorrow we will be free, I proclaim. I can have will. In despair, I sit down and hope to escape this life. My death sentence nears. Prohibited from danger, the heroes have appeared. I can be saved. 50 years later, as a free Jew, I still have a message to share with you. Take from the past to add to the present. Be the change, even as one. Be loving, be kind, be generous, and believe. Because we can.
Zion Q, Grade 7, The Strength of Love and the Will to Survive. The teacher is April Akiva. The testimony is Angelina Bilauer. When you were my age, your life fell apart like glass shattering, but you picked up the shards and pieced them together to create a new reflection, a new window, a new complete sheet of glass. You, a blooming red rose standing in the midst of hate, fear, resentment, even when cut down by the people who sent you to the grueling camps. You still stood up to the people who forced you to undergo brutal work, on the stem of love that sprouted since the day you learned to remember, to cherish, to believe. Trapped in the darkness of a room where you knew you were at a point of no return, you still looked up, right into the terrible moments, into the fear of more suffering, even when you lost everything but the close ones that gave you hope, love, and memories. You held on as hard as you could so that you could never lose the last remaining leaves. When you traveled from one camp to another, it was as if, one by one, each of your petals were torn off. But the stem of a flower, because it is connected to the roots, is much harder to take away. Even with removed petals, a flower still grows, until it withers or grows new petals. Even though you had lost everything except your sister, your friends, your memories, even when you were struck down again and again, even when what you had dwindled down as the things you had dwindled down to nothing, you still kept growing and going, never relenting. For years you suffered in terrible camps, but you loved, but you believed, but you had hope, but you had the will to keep going until the day you were finally free again. We have to stick it out. We have to live through it. And we told each other that we have to hold on.
Angelina Billauer, The Strength of Love and the Will to Live. Angelina, when I hear a terrifying past, I realize how lucky I am to be here. A free country. You were just an ordinary teenager, enjoying your normal life until it wasn't. Your life, suddenly under their control, made you vulnerable but strong. When they pushed you past your breaking point, you held on and fought for every moment like it was your last, pushing through every day with all your strength. As you stood through nocturnal silence, you questioned when, if ever, you get released, wondering what life would be like without being controlled by the Nazis, how amazing it would be, and how you would live every moment to its fullest. Whenever times were dark, you always looked up to the streak of light. You made sure not only you, but all your girlfriends made it through this troubling time, being each other's beam of support. Where you have to hold on, you reminded each other. You and your sister, like two peas in a pod, went through everything together with love and compassion. When you went from one camp to another, you suffered along your sister under Nazis' wrath, praying that one day you could meet liberation. After liberation, you truly became a free spirit. Now you put your faith in us to spread awareness and to make sure the story is not forgotten, making sure the horrors of the Holocaust never be repeated again.
The 5 Stages of Ruth Halbrecht. Denial. Living in the ghetto makes me numb. That or the thick soggy snow that went up to my chest. Every day I keep busy, singing Polish folk songs, learning math and English from some of my old family friends. I try to keep down the nausea, hiding in our basement, hearing screams that sounded like sirens. The Germans are taking them, but not me. I'm fine. It's fine. Anger. Why am I even here in the first place? We could have stayed in Russia, went to school, been happy. I resent my father for taking us back. Prussian police pillaging Polish people. A cigarette doesn't sound so bad right now. Bargaining. After the war, I found out my father died. I cried every single day. The guilt started mounting. My face became redder and redder, like his blood spewing out onto the wall after the bullet pierced his heart. Is God playing some sick joke on me? Why am I alive while he's dead? Why? What I would do to have him back. Depression. The crying continued. The crying consumed me. The crying controlled me. Wiping the tears off the 4x6-inch picture of me and Helen taken while in the ghetto together, with the only thing I can remember my father with, a dark maroon handkerchief he gave to me during our last moment together. His father was killed as well. Generational pain. Acceptance. As I listened to my best friend Ozna play piano in her damp apartment in Jerusalem, I finally understand. The beautiful nocturnes of Chopin, Poland's finest. Though her joints are weakening from the arthritis, I can still hear the story perfectly. The peaceful beginning represents the quiet life we lived before the war, the trips to the countryside our families took together. It builds. In come the crashing octaves, the bombs, the death, the despair of such a pointless war. Finally, the forte becomes pianissimo. The original melody becomes even more poignant and alluring. Despite the death of my father, I have moved on. I married and emigrated to America, reunited with my mother and siblings. Though my life song might be ending soon, the earth keeps spinning. There is still more music to be played.
The first picture in the center is Ruth peeking through a cupboard that she and her family hid behind when the Nazis were searching for them. The picture on the left is the conditions of the Warsaw Ghetto in Poland that Ruth and her family lived through. The pictures on the bottom right is Ruth crossing the border of Poland with the lady that helped her fake the passports. The picture right above that is Ruth working in a restaurant after she escaped the labor camps. And the image of the plane signifies Ruth moving to America and reuniting with family. The words moment in time signify each of the key moments of Ruth's life story.
Hello everyone. So this piece, Keep It In, was created representing a part of Angelina Belair's life as a young girl during the Holocaust in 1940. Angelina had been sent to an extremely strict concentration camp. She had considered the worst part of her life due to this one specific soldier who would hurt, send away, or beat up any of the girls who were ever caught misbehaving, speaking to one another, or just disrupting everyone in general. So she would cover her mouth shut just so that she wouldn't take the risk of accidentally being heard or caught misbehaving, so that the soldier, couldn't catch her and send her away. So, and she explains this about halfway in the video, and this just expresses the love and hope that she had and the faith in herself, trying to get herself out of this one situation that she had been in. And the soldier had told all the girls that whoever was on their best behavior and kept quiet and did everything they had to would have a chance to volunteer or be sent to a different camp to just have like a change in their environment and be sent there to work and stay. So Angelina would only do this because she had a chance to volunteer or leave the camp, and it wasn't to truly volunteer at a different camp, it was to escape while she was on the way to the other camp, just so that she could find her sister once again, which was the only family member she had left. And she had explained how she was very close with her, and she was the only person that she had when they were growing up because they had no one else. It was just them two, no parents. So it was hard for her to be separated from her because they were so attached from all the years growing up together. So once again, this just expresses the love that she had, and she was willing to take this risk just to see the person that she truly loves the most.
Hello, my name is Sienna Schill, and I will be reading my poem Surviving Together that is dedicated to Ella Blumenthal. The train from Warsaw stopped, and bodies rolled out. 3 days in a cattle car, no food, no air, and survival in doubt. We had arrived in Majdanek, the scene of many crimes, and this is where I saw my father for the very last time. With no time to mourn, I turned to Roma, my niece. I had to take care of her, or I would never be at peace. Walking in lines through the pit of hell, I was weak and frail and tripped and fell. In a second, the dogs were on my back. The Germans were laughing, amused by the attack. But what I saw ahead took away my breath. 2 lines were forming, right to life and left to death. I whispered to Roma that I may not be here for long. I was bleeding and shaking and did not feel strong. She told me, "Where you go, I will follow." These words were golden for me. She inspired me to survive for her, and that was my responsibility. I straightened up tall and held my head up with all my might, and Roma and I were sent to the right. Roma and I were sent to the gas chambers one fateful day, waiting for the shower to take the pain away. I spoke a prayer to the heavens above, because soon we would be with the ones we loved. Suddenly, the doors opened and we were set free. The Germans had met the quota for their daily killing spree. We always seemed to follow in a path of miracles like the light, but I still had to stay strong and show my fight. My power is my story for the world to see, that love can overcome any adversity. My soul is eternal, it burns with defiance, to give us all hope with our Jewish alliance.
My Survivor art piece was based on the life of Papa Irving Gelman. Throughout the piece of artwork, you can see the various hardships Papa Gelman faced, demonstrated by the tinfoil bars, the trek through the forest, as well as the box he hid inside of. However, even with all of these hardships, there is Papa Gelman's hand appearing out of the ground, showing his motivation to survive. Furthermore, the shadowy figures in the center of the piece of artwork represent his family members, as well as the millions of other Jews that perished during the Holocaust, giving him the motive to keep their memory and the Jewish faith alive. Through his perseverance in the Holocaust, immigrating to the United States, and overall dedication to creating Tarbut Vitora, Papa Gelman was able to create a community and better world where Jews and non-Jews alike can find the kindness of others and make the world a better place.
Hello everyone, my name is Omer Zilberman, here to showcase my art piece submission for the Chapman University Holocaust Memorial Competition on behalf of representing TVT. My art piece centers around the testimony of Father Wilfred Fisher, specifically the experiences that he recounts being a liberator of the Dachau concentration camp. And although Father Fisher had never lived through the dehumanizing conditions of the Holocaust, he was, at the end of the day, still a witness to it and was able to mentally survive that experience through helping others. Father Fisher described the Dachau as an inhumane hell surrounded with many horrifying scenes of dehumanization and brutality. Each of these scenes are represented by the somewhat cartoonish but yet demonic appearance of the Dachau camp, as well as the different images within the triangles of the Star of David that overlook the camp. And the massive Star of David that overlooks the camp, combined with the horrifying scenes that Father Fisher described, are meant to represent the Jewish suffering and the dehumanization that they had faced. It has become synonymous not just with the Dachau camp, but with the Holocaust as a whole. Father Fisher described seeing guard dogs with their throats cut, boxcars filled with corpses, and of course the infamous crematories and gas chambers. But at the very top triangle of the Star of David, despite the horrible circumstances surrounding that specific tale that Father Fisher recounted in his testimony, is actually a scene of love where Father Fisher had met a very traumatized Jewish prisoner at Dachau who was about the age of 5 or maybe 6, and he had embraced him and, in Father Fisher's words, showed him love that the child had probably not experienced in a long time during the Holocaust. And Father Fisher recounts that that specific experience had almost broken his spirit, but despite that, Fisher used the love that he had exchanged with the boy to continue to push him and motivate him to struggle and spread his message of loving others despite their differences, and of course, never to ignore the suffering of another human being. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my poem is called Whiffs of Fresh Air, and the Holocaust survivor that I wrote it about is Sophie Lazar. Pressed in like sardines, we are like cattle heading to the slaughterhouse. I breathe, no air comes out. I open my eyes, darkness permeates them. I talk, no words are found. The wheels on the train track whisper to me, death is near. The putrid smells of vomit and urine clog my nostrils. Unsanitary, unpleasant, my new life. Home-cooked meals gone, floating in the distance with the ashes of the millions slaughtered. Family meals, matzo ball soup. All I have to cope with is the slight, sluggish sunlight outside the train car. Blood rushes through my body. I need air, we need air, everyone needs air. Helpless people hang on to one another, desperate for survival. My boyfriend sacrifices his ragged shoulders so that I can get whiffs of fresh air above the adult heads in the packed car. I see a mother kneeling and dealing with her young. Her somber, bloodshot eyes shed tears. I live while others die. The train is forced forward by the sudden stop of the car. The Spartan doors open. The hoses are snakes, providing us with just enough water before they slither away. The door shuts and the car picks up speed. The wheels continue down the tracks, into the clouds, up ahead.